Good morning, students. In the last class, we have completed the lesson homework from C reading. So, I think you have remembered the story about the lesson homework. What is the story about? Yes, homework is usually given to students to reinforce the things they learn at school. It usually helps the students learn the material better, but too much homework is not useful. It has some negative effects on students. This essay stresses the importance of limiting the amount of homework to be given to children. On the other hand, it discusses the adverse effects of excessive homework. The amount of homework given to children has been increased in recent times. The present day competition also encourages school to try to increase the volume of the curriculum. Some teachers say that large amounts of homework prepare students for the competitive world. The amount of homework given to students is higher in colleges than that of schools. A lot of homework usually means a lot of books. Carrying large amounts of weight daily at a young age can do a lot of damage, and it leads to chronic shoulder, neck and back pain. Excessive amount of homework makes some students sleepless. Some parents and teachers argue that it limits students after school activities. Children spending their whole time in doing homework become overweight and they fall to obesity. Homework takes away the time of children spending with their families. It is worse in families where both the parents are employees. Excessive homework and assignments cause students lose their interest in subjects. In such times, they try to copy and cheat. Those bad habits will haunt the kids throughout their life. They like to take easy ways. The use of homework is effective when it is given in the limited and reasonable amounts. Homework should not be abolished, but it should be limited. It should be creative and interesting so that the students enjoy it. And I think you have remembered this story. So today we are moving to the new unit. It is fourth unit, and the theme of the unit is environment. In that, A reading, what is man without the beast? So today we are starting this new lesson. If you see in your textbook, environment. So before starting the lesson, here they have given a image and they are asking us few questions regarding the image. So what you see in this image, actually we see an elephant is died, isn't it? So we will see the questions what they are asking. Okay, what do you think the picture is about? So what is the picture about? We think the picture is about killing elephants to rob them of their valuable tusks. Some irresponsible people do like this. They don't hesitate to destroy nature for personal gains. And see the second, what can you do to save nature? So to save nature, what we can do? We can be kind to animals and plants to save nature. I plant trees and love animals, and I try to protect their lives. So by planting trees and trying to protect them, and also being kind towards animals and plants help us to save the nature, isn't it? So, oral activity, speech. The selfishness of human beings destroy the environment. Give suitable examples to to stay to substantiate your opinion. So, moving to the lesson, what is man without the beast? It is from a reading. So, people choose different ways to protect the environment. Here is a speech delivered by a Red Indian, Chief Seattle. Chief Seattle more than a century ago to save his land. So, in this lesson, so what is the name of that person's? Chief Seattle. So he is telling that people choose different ways to protect the environment. So here is a speech delivered by a Red Indian. Who is he? He is a Red Indian, Chief Seattle, more than a century. So this speech is delivered more than a century ago to save his land. So Chief Seattle became world famous for a moving speech he made in 1854, just before his lands were taken from him and his people. Seattle's words resonate very well in the environmental community and are in fact considered to be something like a gospel of the greens. So, what they are saying, Chief Seattle became very famous for a moving speech he had made in 1854. So, when he has given that moving speech in 1854 before his lands were taken from him and his people. So Seattle's words resonate. Resonate means continue to have a powerful effect or value. So resonate very well in the environmental community. So and they are what they are doing in fact considered to be the something like a gospels of the green. So Seattle's words were so effective on the environmental community and they treated them as the gospels of green, means like a holy words to them. So, how can you buy or sell the sky, the warmth of the land? The idea is strange to us. If we do not own the freshness of air and the sparkle of water, how can you buy them from us? So, what he is saying is, he is questioning that how can you buy or sell the sky? So, he is asking that how can you buy or sell a sky? And the worth of the land and the warmth of the land. He's telling that how can you sell the sky and the warmth of the land? The idea is strange because if we listen these words, how a person can sell a sky and the warmth of a land, isn't it? Even we too will get a thought how we can sell that. So the idea is strange to us. So if we own, so what he's saying, if we do not own the freshness of air, he's telling that if we don't know the freshness of air and the sparkle of water, how can we? So he's telling that without knowing the freshness and the sparkle of, without knowing the freshness of air and the sparkle of water, how can they buy them from us? So he's telling that without knowing the freshness of air and the sparkle of water, how they can buy them from us? So he's questioning. So every part of the earth is scared to buy people. Every part of the earth is scared to my people. Every shining pine needle, every sandy shore, every mist in the dark woods, every clear and humming insect are holy in the memory and experience of my people. The sap which courses through the trees, the memory and experience of my people. The sap which courses through the trees carries the memories of the red man. So, what he is telling is every part of the earth is sacred to my people. Means sacred books means we call holy books as sacred books, like religious books like Quran, Bhagavad Gita, Bible, we call them as sacred books, isn't it? So he's telling that every part of the earth is a holy place for them, sacred to my people. So what he is telling, every shining pine needle and every sandy shores and every mist in the dark woods and every clear and humming insect are holy in the memory and experiences of my people. So he is telling that a shining pine needle and a sandy shore, mist in the dark woods, clear and humming insect, these all are holy in the memory and experience of their people. And the sap which courses means flow, so which flow through the trees carries the memories and experiences of his people. And the sap which courses through the trees carries the memories of the red man. So what he is telling is the sap which flows through the trees, it carries the memories of the red men. We are a part of the earth and it is a part of us. The perfumed flowers are our sisters. The deer, the horse, the great eagle, these are our brothers. The rocky crust, the juices in the meadows, the body heat of the pony and the man all belong to the same family. So, when the great chief in Washington sends word that he wishes to buy our land, he asks much of us. The great white chief sends word that he will reserve us a place so that we can live comfortably to ourselves. He will be our father and we will be his children. So we will consider your offer to buy land, but it will not be easy, for this land is sacred to us. So what he is telling is we are a part of earth, and it is the and he is telling that they are the part of earth and earth is the part of their life. And he is telling that perfumed flowers are their sisters, and the horse, the great eagle, uh, and the deer, these are their brothers. And the rocky crusts, the juices in the meadows, and the body heat of the pony and the man all belong to the same family. So he is comparing uh, every creature on the earth as one. So he is not showing any difference between a human being or a creature on the earth or an animal. So he is telling that everyone belongs to the same family. So when the great chief in Washington sends word that he wishes to buy our land, he asks much of us. So a great chief in Washington has sent a word that he want to purchase their land. So the great white chief sends word. What did he send a word saying? That he will reserve us a place. So what he has sent a word that he will reserve a place for them to live comfortably. So he will be, and he means he sent a word saying that I will reserve your place for you to live comfortably, and I will be your father and you will be my children, but we will consider your offer to buy land. So but it will not be easy. So what did he say, that white chief? What did he send a message? He sent a message saying that I am reserving a place of land for you to live comfortably, and I will be your father and you will be my children. So he thought that by sending like that he can buy the land, but it was not easy to buy the land. Why? Because this land is sacred to us. So as these red people treat land as a holy thing, so they don't send that they don't want to uh, sell that land. So I think you have understood till here. There are some hard words for you: environment, century, resonate, community, experience, perfumed, meadows, comfortable. And your home assignment is write hard words in your notebooks. Students, I have given you hard words. Write them neatly in your notes and learn the spellings of the hard words. And we'll be completing the remaining part of the lesson in the next session. Thank you. Have a good day.